This week's podcast is brought to you by Big Big One and their Blitz 2 TMR controller. With a 2000 Hz polling rate over both wired and wireless modes, the Blitz 2 is an incredibly fast and responsive controller that you can use with PC, Mac, Nintendo Switch and mobile. As well as fast speed, you'll find a comfortable and durable TMR analog sticks, mechanical face and shoulder buttons, micro switch triggers and a mechanical D-pad. Find out more by using the links in the description to see our full review. Now, back to the podcast. Hello, welcome to Podcast vs. Player, episode 308. I'm one of your hosts, Cal, and as always, I'm joined by a man who says if going into space for 3 minutes makes you an astronaut, then he's a gynecologist.
What were they thinking? Yeah, put Katy Perry on a fucking spaceship.
Who heard Katy Perry stood in a puddle. Now she's a deep sea diver.
Scuba diver, yeah.
Who saw Katy Perry in a sandpit. Now she's an archaeologist. It's only bloody Dan.
What is this?
We are flappy head R.E.P.O agents, Dan, and I thought for visual purposes it would be quite humorous to do a podcast within the game R.E.P.O with its flappy head goodness.
Uh-huh.
This may or may not pan out. If it suddenly cuts to just audio in the picture, then, you know, we all know what happened. But I find it fascinating to see that this R.E.P.O agent, it's just got your facial expression.
Yeah.
I love it. How are you?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. You all right?
I am not too bad at all, Dan. And after the Easter break,
Yes.
I've only got some bloody news for you.
I should hope so. We've had a little week's hiatus just to recharge, refresh, and do whatever, I don't know, eat lamb and Easter eggs. That's what you do. And
Easter eggs, I think it is, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
The Pope died as well. That wasn't anything to do with us, but
okay, yeah.
it happened.
We'll bring it down right at the start, sure.
It's big news. We're not going to talk about it because it's nothing to do with gaming.
Big news. Pope's dead.
I think that's arguably one of the bigger news stories in the world at the moment.
I don't know, if you're religious, maybe.
Maybe. I mean, he's a big old celebrity kind of person, isn't he?
I don't know. Is he any more famous than any other religious leader?
I mean, not as big as Jesus, I guess, but who is? The Beatles.
Apparently. So they claim, anyway.
That's what they said. Yeah, I disagree. Anyway, some old Bethesda news. Dan, Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered. Who'd have thunk it, you know?
Yeah.
Why not a new game?
Where did that come from?
Thing is, though, everybody's waiting for a new game. This wasn't even announced that they were making it.
No.
And we had a gameplay trailer yesterday, and it's out to buy.
No, it was out yesterday.
It's available now.
Yeah,
it came out yesterday.
I played it yesterday.
Yeah.
It's great.
I haven't tried it yet, so I can't comment on any of the goodness that's involved with it, but looks fantastic.
Yeah, it looks gorgeous. Like, compared to, Skyrim does not look good, to be clear. I imagine that Oblivion looks even worse. But if Skyrim looked like this, yeah.
Oblivion came out in like 2006.
That's my point. I honestly don't even think I played it. So this is my first exposure to it. And who's the first person that you end up talking to? Patrick Stewart.
Patrick Stewart, isn't it?
Yeah. And I was like, were you in the original, or is this just a remodel and a revoice? Like, a lot of the sort of like menus and like the map and stuff looks very old school. But like all the visuals and stuff, it looks great. Like, I was just like, God damn, if you just made Fallout look like this, or again, just remaster Skyrim and make it look like this. Yeah, you could probably,
from what I've seen though,
recharge full price for that. It's gorgeous.
But I believe that they have just they've converted everything into Unreal Engine 5. I believe.
It looks like a mod, honestly. It just looks like someone's modded the living shit out of it.
But that's what I mean. Why don't they just do that for like Fallout 3 and upwards?
Maybe that's it. Like, well, they're going, look, we're still working on the new Elder Scrolls. We're probably working on a new Fallout to some degree. In the meantime, here's this remaster. Not to say that that's easy. You don't just click a button and just go, upgrade this to 4K, please. Like, there's a lot of work that goes into it, but that'll tide people over and get people excited for the next one.
It's also 119.2 gig, Dan.
Yes, it is,
It's
Callum.
pretty big for a remaster.
So I was like, God damn, I'm pretty sure the original isn't that fucking big.
I'm pretty sure you could fit the original on your phone.
Yeah, more likely.
Storage,
Yeah.
which is like going to be between 64 gig and upwards, I assume, for most phones these days.
I think mine's 128.
Yeah, but it's probably 60 for each side. But yeah, it's available for $49.99 across all platforms, or you can just grab it for freezies on Game Pass.
Indeed. Game Pass for the win yet again.
Well, I did notice, though, when I was going through the news, this was $49.99. And I was like, I wonder what it is over here, full price. $49.99.
Yeah, it's like a stat. They just go with the numbers. Not
There's no conversion anymore.
But speaking of Bethesda new games, Callum, we got a new trailer for Doom Dark Ages.
That's the next bit of news, Dan.
Ooh, baby.
Literally, the script says more Bethesda news with a new trailer for Doom the Dark Ages. Looks great.
It looks fucking banging, mate.
I mean, it looks better than great, but...
Oh, I can't wait. Like, that is one thing that I want to just strap on the headset and just listen to that fucking music and just plow through.
Oh, I think you meant VR.
No, I think that would still terrify me.
I mean, Doom is available in VR. I haven't played, but it is available on
Doom,
VR.
But,
New
2016
first Doom.
Dooms. Yeah. So Dark
Lots of
Ages
story
just,
beats in this, though.
Oh.
What do you make of the story stuff?
I don't know. I mean, like the story you kind of got through snippets, through audio, files, and kind of like cutscenes in Doom and Eternal, where it's just sort of just someone would talk at you for a bit, and then you just get bored and just stamp their head in. Whereas this seems to be a bit more. Here's the actual here's how this is the original Doom guy. Like, I think they're going to tie a lot of it together because I'm still, I played Doom and Doom Eternal a bunch, mate.
Yeah.
And I still don't really know what the fuck happens in it because I'm not. It's one of those rare ones that it's a game that I want to play the game for, not enjoy a bigger world within it. You know, I just want to flip about and stamp on people's faces.
But that's the problem with when people try to adapt it into a film.
That's why it can't work. Yeah.
No, I mean, like in all fairness, the first, The Rocks was the first one, wasn't it?
Yes. There's only been two.
Like
mate.
that. I don't know. I lose track. There's too many shit video game adaptations. But they at least modelled it more on Doom 3. Which is a bit more story focused. Yeah. But I mean, like, of all the ones that they chose the better one to try and adapt it into a film.
Sure.
Didn't work at all. No. But Doom isn't something where you go, oh, have you played Doom? Oh, yeah, what a great story.
No. It's just like, oh my God,
that's not the aim of it.
Oh my God. It's like Mortal Kombat. You're not interested in the story of what's going on, even though for the most part it is quite interesting. It's it's about the fights, it's about the combos, it's about the fatalities and all the mad shit that you can do, the X-ray moves and all that kind of stuff. That's what people want to be the biggest, the most engaging thing. I don't think that will be any different. Like, they nailed it the first time around in 2016 when they kind of rebooted the whole thing. Then they did it again with Eternal. I can't now see them going, and this one's an interesting story mode where it's it's just kind of you're following scientists around and you've got to complete objectives based on it's going to be like no, there'll be people talking. It'll give you a bit more backstory, a bit more lore, and then here's shock and off you go.
I think that's exactly what it'll be. Cutscene, lots of fighting, cutscene, lots of fighting. So it's not like in between, like you finish a cutscene and now you got to go and do this thing and find this thing and what. It's a good, just fucking crack on.
Yeah.
It better be anyway.
It
looks so good though.
They've really smashed these out of the park so far. So I've got faith in them so far. Come on, Ed, don't let me down.
Do you think it would be worth revisiting? I know it's a different a team making them, but do you reckon we'll see like because of how well received Doom's been after we've got this new Elder Scrolls remaster, whatever it is. Is it Oblivion? It is Oblivion, isn't it? Yeah. we're going to get some more Wolfenstein?
I think we're about due. I'm pretty sure New Colossus came out 2020?
Well, we had...
21 maybe?
What was the spin-off one with the girls?
Youngbloods, but yeah.
Youngblood,
There's a lot of people who are like, no, this is not the way to do this.
It's a good game. It wasn't the best Wolfenstein game. But just as a game on its own, I thought it was okay.
I've not returned to it, mate. That's all I can say.
I've only played it once, I'll be honest.
Yeah, then Wolfenstein, like New Order and Shadow of the Colossus. Sorry,
Order and Colossus is amazing.
Yeah,
New Colossus. Shadow Colossus is a different game.
Fantastic. Absolutely. Yeah. Like, every now and then I just like, yep, I'm going to go and stab some Nazis in the face.
It's a good game.
Yeah,
and again, that kind of came out of nowhere at the time.
Well, it was sort of like the weird Bethesda revival. They'd done their Fallout and, they'd done Skyrim and that, and then they just went, now here's Doom and here's this and here's this. And it was like, fucking hell. They just smashed it out of the park every time. And then they go, here's Fallout 76. And everyone's like, ooh. Ooh, you dropped the ball there, didn't you? Jeez.
But it's that problem where one of the most requested things when you play Fallout 3, you play New Vegas, etc., and it'd always be, I wish I could play this with my mate. But when you get that, and it's like, it's not what I was thinking.
No, but that's because it's made to be that. If they made Fallout 5 and they said it's completely single player, but in lieu of a companion, a mate can drop in and be your companion. So
that's what it should have been.
You absolutely do not, and I probably wouldn't for a lot of it. I'd be like, no, I don't want someone coming in and just annoying me, whilst I'm trying to do my story and do my playthrough.
Yeah.
But to have that option for, a really difficult mission maybe, and you go, oh, do you know what? I can't do this on my own. I need you to come in and, try and help me out a little bit. That makes way more sense than just going, it's a big online world.
Baldur's Gate 3, obviously that's a game that does have multiplayer components to it, but you refuse to play it with anybody because I want to play it on my own. And then, after you'd finished it,
that's when
I believe you played.
Yeah, I've started multiple games.
Yeah.
Because there is so much replayability in it. That's a perfect example, quite frankly. It enhances that experience, but you also have to then depend on 2 or 3 other people. 3 or 4 people as a whole, all being available, all wanting to play, and all trying to roleplay to some degree. Because otherwise, you're going to be skipping conversations, and you just power through it as best you can, and you're kind of missing a lot of it. Whereas there's so much of that I just spent thinking and just going, what am I going to do? And it would. I'd be thinking about it when I'm not playing it, because it is that engaging in that. But if it was purely just made to be a multiplayer thing, it would have been like Diablo, which is great, but Diablo knows what it is, and this also
that's a different beast altogether, though, isn't it?
It is, but it's all sort of like a loot grind and that kind of stuff, and that's ultimately what it would look to be. You've got to try and get better gear rather than just trying to make better choices. And having conversations with people, and how is that really going to change the outcome of the story? It's a lot of time to put for 2 people in, whereas 76 you can just sort of drop in and drop out. You don't need to be there. So I think if they were doing something along those lines, I'd be cool with that. Same with any of these ones, like Doom. If there was sort of you could be a little imp or something like that just follows you. So you're Doom guy, and I just sort of follow you around and just zap people or stun them, or I drop out of a vent and spook them so you can shoot them in the back or something. Like
Mario and Cappy in Odyssey.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. But I don't know, there's just so much for Doom specifically that just feels like it has to be you. Like, it has to be your brain, it has to be your way of playing. Because if you're doing sort of like sick flips and, parkour all over the place, I'm like, oh, well, I'm trying to find all the collectibles, actually. Like, it's just going to really hamper everything. That's one exception. I think that if they tried to, that's why I don't think the multiplayer that they did was very good.
Yeah,
because it was tacked on to just have sort of like a deathmatch mode. But I'm very glad that they went, it's a single player game, and we've thrown this component in rather than it's a multiplayer game that just happens to have a single player mode.
Yeah, I prefer it very much that way. I mean, like, I really used to like the multiplayer on I think it was on Uncharted 2. And it played fine. It was a good deathmatch like game. You could still climb and stuff and whatnot, but it didn't affect the single player in any possible way whatsoever. Same like Max Payne 3 is another good example.
Yeah.
And if the option's there for people that want to play it, that's fine. But I don't want, like you said, I don't want it to have a negative impact on the development of the single player experience when it's primarily a single player game.
Yeah. Well, I do want the like a remaster of Skyrim. I've got a lot to do in the Skyrim playthrough that I'm doing now. But I'm just, now that I've just started playing Oblivion, I'm like, ooh, this is actually really quite good.
You ever played Morrowind?
No.
No.
I'm pretty sure that Skyrim was my first, like, Elder Scrolls, Oblivion, Morrowind, the whole thing. I'm sure that was, like, they're all available. Oh, most of them are available on Game Pass, but
yeah,
just never been into it. I think I just missed the window to be into it. I don't know why, but now
I mean they're up your street.
I know, but like having this as an option where I can go, ooh, and it's like graphically so terrible that, and I don't have that nostalgia to sort of filter it out in my brain. Like with Vegas, like New Vegas, like I struggle to play that because I'm just like, God, it looks fucking awful. But
yeah, I love it.
I never played it back in the day, which means I can't get past how awful it looks. So I think it's good. I'm enjoying it. I've only played a little bit, an hour or two, but it's kind of great. It feels very Skyrim, but it looks far more modernized, which is good. And I just hope that it's they kind of look back at some of these other properties that they have, and maybe they pop out the odd remaster whilst they're still working on their kind of like their next iteration.
Do you think it'll be like, because obviously it's like an ongoing meme that Skyrim's been ported to the fucking toaster because it's on everything else. Do you think that will count if they do this for Skyrim?
No.
Because it feels like it's a new game.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think that Skyrim at this point, because it is so old, I say so old, it's like 15 years old. That's pretty fucking old, actually.
It's pretty old, yeah.
Like, I think that if you completely revamped it, like you say, put it in Unreal 5 or something, it would change it, but I reckon that there's a lot of people who are still super into it, who made it look as good as that, or better than that, through mods for the last 10 years anyway.
Oh, so, look at Minecraft. I mean, that mod we looked at on Minecraft the other week.
Mm-hmm. But that's not
the people are talented enough to do it.
That's not Minecraft, though, is it?
What do you mean?
When it looks like that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's... There's making... Because, like, just for record, I'll put a clip of it up on the screen, but it's basically just real life.
Yeah.
Like, there's realistic mods that I don't know whether we've done together, but there's definitely realistic mods that I've used to just play. And everything looks nicer, but it was more of a... When we first got RTX cards, load it up. Let's look at this fucking ray tracing.
Oh my god, my PC's over
look
here.
Great,
that kind of thing.
Yeah, but it was still Minecraft.
Yeah,
this just like real life with shit weeds.
Yeah, it was like whoa.
There was only certain elements that made it feel like Minecraft, and I'd love to play it, but my PC definitely wouldn't be able to play that, and. It's not worth the house insurance.
Well, it's the same as like when people have got those like hyper realistic cyberpunk mods on. Like you'd be watching an Instagram video and then it'll like some sort of biker zipping around, and then it'd be like, oh, and this is cyberpunk. Like, wait, what? That's not real.
Yeah,
like it looks.
Some of those are mental.
They look phenomenal, and that's what I mean. Like comparatively, does Oblivion look that good? No, of course not.
No.
But does it look better than it would have done? Yeah, a million times better. And
Cyberpunk also already looks good, though.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you're building on greatness as it is.
Yeah.
But I think that, like you say, doing a New Vegas, if they did a New Vegas remaster in that same kind of vein, I would ditch the one that I'm playing and I would start again and appreciate it more, for sure. And the same with 3. and I'm sure that they've done some work on 1, 2, and tactics. I think, just to kind of make it more usable for like modern day PCs.
Yeah, so it's not like 240 by 240.
Yeah. So yeah, I genuinely think it's all good news out of Bethesda at the moment. The only thing, Callum, is a new Fallout game. That's the only thing I want from them, more than anything in the world, and they've yet to give it to me in like fucking 12 years. Come on, guys, jeez.
More than any of the like Elder Scrolls series, I want Fallout, but obviously I don't think we're going to get that Fallout before that.
Oh god, no. Unless they go, oh, by the way, we forgot to mention it, but here you go.
I mean, like those. I've never been a massive. I like the Elder Scrolls franchise as a whole, but if I had to, I could only play Fallout or that. It would be Fallout every single time.
Yeah,
and even when Skyrim came out, Skyrim and Dragon Age came out on the same day, and I chose Dragon Age.
I thought Dragon Age was poo.
It was, and I massively regretted it. I took it back. I swapped it and got Skyrim. But at the time, I was just like, this looks the better of the two.
Yeah.
And I was very wrong.
It is that came out. That looks...
Vanguard was excellent.
That looks great. No, the new...
No. What was the other one? Renegade? No.
No, there was Origins.
The one before it. It was a really good one. Got Game of the Year. Vanquish? No.
No, wasn't it just Dragon Age 2?
Inquisition.
Oh, yeah, that might be it, yeah.
That was very good. I enjoyed that a lot.
Mm. But yeah,
but the new one looks more like Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, that does look really good. But yeah, I was hoping that every now and then they'll just say, "Oh, here's just a remaster for you," like in this same kind of vein where they just go, "Here you go, everyone."
What do you think we'll do that with? Like, I know it's not Bethesda, but like Mass Effect.
Well, what do you mean? Legendary Edition's already on there.
Yeah, but I mean, like with this kind of magic added to it.
I don't know. I mean, they already remastered 1 and 2.
Did they?
Yeah, that looks great. That's what the
I don't remember that at all.
Was. It's 1, 2, and 3, and they all look fucking brilliant.
I genuinely don't remember that.
It's on Game Pass. I bought it,
and we probably did a podcast on it as well. I genuinely don't remember that at all. There you go.
Edition.
Maybe not that then. Bad example.
They're absolutely on there. Yeah.
I believe you. I just don't remember. I just don't remember it happening.
Yeah, man. It's a couple of years ago, easy, because I bought it and powered through the whole lot. Because you basically, for the first time, for a lot of people actually, you could do 1, 2, and 3 with the same character. Whereas some people had, they had 1 on the Xbox, or they only had 2 on the PlayStation or whatever.
I couldn't. I that exact incident, that exact issue. I had the first one because it was Xbox exclusive.
Yeah.
On 360, and then I had Mass Effect 2 on PS3.
There you go. See, that means that shepherd is gone forever.
He is. He's a dead shepherd who lost his flock. Speaking of dead things, though, Dan.
Yep.
Daredevil Born Again season 1 is dead and finished.
Thank God, we all said.
Said anybody at DC. No, season is finished, and it's spoiler time, Dan.
Oh,
I don't care what you say.
Boy, was it good.
Excellent season finale. I do think the last 2 episodes were the best ones, personally. And I believe they had different writers for those 2.
Okay.
But it was real good.
Yeah, it was fucking
It was really good.
Loved every episode of that season. They didn't feel like a lull in it at all.
One thing that surprised me, and we have spoke about this when we've talked about previous episodes of Born Again, but what surprised me all the way through was not seeing him in the Daredevil suit for the majority, for like 90% of the season. We didn't see him in the suit, and it wasn't an issue. But if you'd have said that to me before we saw it, I wouldn't have been happy about that.
Yeah.
I've waited all this time to get him back, and he's not in the fucking suit. But paid off, because it was great, regardless.
Oh, it absolutely was.
We got to see a certain somebody return.
Well, we had a couple of certain somebody's return.
Well, yeah, obviously. I forgot about her.
Yeah.
But we're going to go full spoilers, and we're not even just going to do like a minor bit where we don't talk about it. We'll just go straight into it. So, Mr. Frank Castle makes his glorified return. Shaved. He's had his hair cut.
Aftershaved and everything.
Looks beautiful. Yeah. Looked a stunning little man. Also, I watched The Accountant again on Saturday. Great film.
That's weird you say that. Someone at work was talking to me yesterday. He's saying like, oh, you've seen last few episodes of Daredevil, blah blah blah. He's like, oh, did you know that there's a second Accountant film coming out? And I was like, yeah, I do. Fucking the first Accountant film was great.
Real good.
Yeah, I really, really do enjoy that. And I'd forgotten that Berthnall was in it because he's the brother, isn't he?
He's the brother, yeah. I think he's got a much bigger part in the second film, but
I hope so.
It was just, I forgot what I was talking about, and I was like, man, it's a really good film. And so I just watched it again on Saturday.
Yeah, it's really.
And so I was like, I don't remember watching this, and then promptly fell asleep and didn't watch it again.
Don't worry, you'll come back to it after number 2's out.
Exactly. Yeah. But I mean, like, again, it's no surprise we're quite big fans of him as the Punisher. I only have one criticism, Dan, and you, I believe, also will have the same criticism. Why the fuck would he just stroll straight into a fucking heavily armed facility?
Yeah. But this is exactly what I messaged you about after we'd watched it. And I was just like, look, he's going in, he slits some guy's throat, and then he just walks in, and they all just go, right, do you want to come with us? And then he just shoots them all. They could have just popped one straight in his face. Right there and then. And we had no idea.
Or
and
he could have been smarter.
Had no idea that they were going to try and take him alive.
That was plot armor, Dan.
It is, and that I'm not a fan of, because he's not the sort of bloke who would just walk into an area full of guys. He's been captured before. We've seen that before in the Netflix show where he's purposely got himself captured to meet the boss of the Irish crime family. Whereas here, it just looked like he was just unprepared. Now, I don't think that was the point. I think he, again, like you say, he was probably trying to get himself captured. But to what end? Maybe to get close to Fisk, if he thought that Fisk was behind this to some degree. I don't know. But yeah, like the fact that that there wasn't just like flashbangs and claymores and shit going off all over the place, and he was on another roof just picking them off one by one. It just doesn't seem very smart.
Especially as they came from the base.
It's a fantastic, like when he's in Matt's apartment after he comes back from the hospital, and it's just like Karen's asked me to kind of keep an eye on you kind of thing, and then he's got the armor back, Double D's got the suit back on, and then they just fucking rinse out that vigilante task force, just absolutely wipe them out. It's a fantastic scene.
It was, I think, the whole episode, like the whole finale episode, was really good, all of it. But apartment scene, Punisher waltzing into the place, that was a good fight. Even though, like, just the general aspect of it was a bit, the actual fight bit was quite good. He took quite a few of them out, and it took like 50 of them to take him down.
Yeah.
Fisk, which we'll come back to. Was the other? There was another really good bit I really liked. It'll come back to me. But how much of this do you think is going to influence the new Punisher, like, one shot?
I assume that this directly ties into it, so it'll be him.
Him
getting out of that cell. Also, that cop deserves to have his fucking arm ripped off.
I was going to leave this till later, but yeah, we'll do it now.
Idiot. He's just shot half your mates. He's in a cage. He goes, "Oh, come over here and shake my hand." And he's like, "Yeah, okay." Idiot. He's
also the only one shackled up as well. Like everybody else that's held up there is just in a cage.
I know. It's like,
but he's in shackles and chains.
Right, Gary, just keep an eye on everyone. Like, they're all in cages and they can't get out. This guy especially, we've tied him up to the roof, so he can't move as well. just keep a 4-foot distance. Just don't go anywhere near it. He's not armed. He can't hurt you. He can shout obscenities at you if he wants to, but that's as little. There's as much punishing as he can do. He's just picking on your hair or whatever. But he's just like, oh, come over here and shake your hand. Idiot.
And he full on breaks it as
well.
well.
Man, he breaks that fucking arm so hard. I do love that he just does not give it, because he's whilst he's a psychopathic murderer, he still he doesn't shoot the police. He kind of has his own morality. Whereas these cops is like, no, I'll slit your fucking throat. Yeah, I'll break all your arms.
They're not cops though, are they?
I'll shoot you when you're already knocked out on the floor. Casually just bang. What about him? Did he deserve a second chance? Bang.
I'd say that's it. That's the only thing I disagree with that apartment fight scene is Matt telling Frank you can't kill people, just knock them out or whatever. Daredevil must have killed at least 3 of them. He must have done.
Like you say, sort of plot hurt them. But he's got that the guy sort of his hands nailed to the wall, and Frank's just said do it, just do it. He's his little devil sitting on his shoulder, just going
100%.
You need to cross that boundary with me. Look how easy it is. Bang. I'll fucking do it. Stand aside, mate. I'll put him out right now.
But even then, why would only one of them be using special bullets? Because it seems like they would all have those Punisher bullets.
Well, I think because he was I think he was a more senior member of that particular team, wasn't he?
Because I would have still put money on it. No, it wasn't the other guy because he passed the heartbeat test, didn't he? The leader of the team.
Yeah. No, but he was only asking him, "Did you kill White Tiger?"
Yeah.
So he didn't do
That's
it.
what. Yeah. That's what I mean. I was going to say, I was pretty sure it was. No. He passed the heartbeat thing. He goes, it wasn't me. I didn't do it.
Yeah, so it's the other guy.
His heartbeat. Yeah.
Must be. Yeah.
It's good seeing Karen come back.
I like the fact that she's just got the Punisher on speed dial and to be like, "Yo, can you step in and help, please?"
But I do like that though. That it was Karen asked me to make sure you got back all right, but I came to your apartment instead of the hospital.
Yeah, I knew you'd probably just get out of there. And I have a bad history with being in hospitals because the last time I saw someone in there, I was shooting the
some
place
Irish
up.
people. He's so good as the Punisher, though. He really, really is. This could just be a podcast just about.
Honestly, I love
John,
he's just they're just ripping them apart, and he just slams that guy's head down on the table, and then just shoots him that camera angle where it's just underneath the table, and it's just bullet holes just flying through the table. Oh,
it was a very well thought out episode for the choreography wise.
Yeah, I really think so. Yeah,
they did what we discussed previously, where not been overly happy with the Billy Cub grapple theatrics that's gone on with some of the CGI. But this, we didn't see it. We just saw them jump. He did it, but we never actually saw...
Yeah, he just came through the roof, didn't he?
Yeah, and that's what it should be. Every time. If you can't afford to do it properly, don't do it.
That's fine. But yeah, outside of that, so obviously we've got some development with the Fisk thing. We saw that it was Vanessa that got Bullseye out of prison. To go and kill Foggy, because it turns out that yes, he was onto something that would have something to do with the docks, like that Red Hook project that they keep on talking about. Is that
it can't be arrested.
Yeah, it falls outside of international law or something. So as soon as he realised that, he was going to throw it out. But they're like, oh shit. Well, if he exposes that, then that's a huge problem, and we can't do all of our illegal shit through it. So that's why she got him to kill him. So that actually makes more sense than it was it's Daredevil's mate, isn't it? So go and kill him. It's it was just unrelated, even though she knew who he was. That wasn't the point of it. It wasn't a hit against him, which is interesting, because you'd think that it was just go after the friends, go after the family. That's what you do when you're the bad guy.
Even though she knows he's Daredevil.
Exactly. Or maybe that was after the fact. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah.
But Fisk's tested her. And she's now killed the guy in the basement that he beat the living shit out of. So
he was as good as dead.
Yeah, there's no way he was getting out of that cage one way or another, was there? So they are moving ahead with their project. Like all the
Good for them.
The rich people are like kind of terrified now. It's like, oh shit, like is this a really bad idea? Like getting involved with this guy. He's like just taking everyone into a room and just be like, here's an individual specific threat for you, and I'm gonna need you to make sure you give us money, otherwise X. And they're like, okay, yeah, okay, sure. So that's good.
Well, Swordsman's locked up though, isn't he?
Exactly, but again, no one remembered he was in it anyway, so it's not too much of a loss so far. No additional. So we didn't get Jen, which I was a bit annoyed about, but it kind of makes sense. Jess would have been a great show up, but no Jess. I thought Kamala, with her dad being in it, would be a great get. Although again, it would upstage everything quite a lot, and also. What's the vigilante task force going to do against her? Nothing.
That's the problem. Everyone who's got on speed dial is a superhero.
But this is the other thing, right? And that all kind of comes down to the crux of this whole show, right? And again, don't get me wrong, I love it. I loved every episode. But that is a New York that the Avengers are based in. That Spider-Man is in. How has any of that been allowed to happen? Any of it?
Maybe this is all... No, because Fisk's already mentioned Spider-Man. I was going to say maybe it's blip time.
No.
And it just happened to be that none of the Netflix lot have got caught in the blip. But it's obviously Kamala is about, so...
I mean, I get that the Avengers technically don't exist at this point.
No, but Spider-Man should... He's a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. This is his bread and butter now.
Why has he not got involved and stopped the Punisher? He's clearly just been on his own fucking warpath for the last God knows how many years, just blowing people away. How has he not tried to track him down?
I mean, a lot of this is Sony, I assume.
No,
like,
I just mean...
Before, Netflix-wise...
This is the logic that you have
to
apply here. But then that means that we've got a criminal that is in charge of New York. New York is falling apart. There was a gigantic power outage, which caused the entire city's power to go down. How is there not any kind of damage control? Like, what is it, Center of Damage Control or whatever, like the Tony Stark?
Yeah.
Sorry, I've got the Marvel police coming to me.
I was going to say, so Disney was I was only joking. It's fucking great. I loved there wasn't a bad episode.
There's just like none of them, even a cursory like sort of like Doctor Strange lives there. Why is he not gone? Oh, I'll just turn all the power back on. I mean, again, I get it. You know, you can't just have them step in and just solve all the problems immediately, which is what they can do. You know, you need these guys to be able to stand up for themselves. But then that leads me into my next question for you, Callum Povey over there with the yellow and the big dong.
Hi.
Because your shadow from your torch just looks like you've got a massive erection.
It's pretty big. What torch?
The army that he's going to now recruit.
Yeah.
Who's going to be in this army? Because I'm sure a few random extras in police outfits, Josie and his retired police mate, does not an army make.
Well, that's the thing. Like, intentional or not, that line made you think as soon as he goes out into that bar, She-Hulk's going to be there. Luke Cage is going to be there.
Revealed.
Yeah. And I'm fine with them not being there for very good like, you don't need Daredevil. If Luke Cage and Kamala there and She-Hulk, like, you don't need anybody else.
You can tag out for this one, yeah.
Yeah. And I get that. That's totally fine. But you can't go, we obviously we get an army of our own. And then you open the door, there's a retired cop, a new cop that we've only seen once.
Oh, yeah.
A barmaid.
Detective, yeah.
Although, she would make an excellent... I forgot her name in Spider-Man, the video game. No, the cop that turns into...
oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, my
she was like
Christ alive.
Captain, the police chief.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know exactly who you mean, yeah.
She would make an excellent live action. Like, she's got
totally agree. Now that you said it, absolutely.
Yeah. Like, even like the mannerisms and stuff, and like how she talks and stuff, and like she's just she's really. I like her as an actor. She's very good. Mm-hmm. But I don't like her as an army. And I suppose you can count Karen in that as well, and potentially Frank. maybe.
I mean, Frank, yes, obviously when he sorts himself out. I assume Jen, because you actually need someone with,
but she's just going to do just walk in and get Fisk.
Well, that's it. Like,
she's bulletproof and super strong.
Wall, grab him by the throat and drag him into prison, and there isn't a single thing you can do about it.
And that's why I don't think she will pop up, or she will, and she'll like, I'll help you as me, but I'm not turning into She-Hulk. And we'll go, well, you're fucking useless then. Fuck, I'm a better lawyer than you.
Yeah,
Get out.
Maybe that's true. But I'd imagine that, if there's going to be an army, he's calling in some favours, he's calling in some mates. Like, no one in the MCU knows who he is, or so far as we've seen, other than sort of Tom Holland's Spider-Man, but he doesn't know that he's Daredevil. It would have to be, that's your launch point for, we've got Jess back, we've got Luke back, we've got maybe Danny, they've recast, or they've tried again.
He wants to come back, doesn't he?
Well, I'm sure he does, but no.
I saw the article though for it. Like, the exact quote was, "Give me a fucking chance." It's like, you had 2 fucking seasons.
I know, but he didn't write it though. Come on.
No, but he also didn't learn any martial arts.
I'm sure he tried. They gave him like 6 weeks, and it was like, right, can you do kung fu? It's like, I no. And he's like, well, fine. Just record and we'll do it in post.
Don't audition then. Then simple as that. I'm sure there was somebody that could do kung fu, martial arts. Plays
Colleen Wing, get her.
But she is the current Iron Fist, though.
Good.
According to
that's absolutely fine.
The end of that show. So get her instead.
Yeah, completely. Or
Blade. And she was very good as well. I mean, we ain't going to get Blade.
I imagine that. It was just like, here's Blade, here's Ghost Rider.
I was going to say, like, what we need is an army. Open the door, Ghost Rider, Blade.
What?
Like, fucking anybody, Moon Knight, fucking everyone else. Yeah, where the fuck's Moon Knight?
Where is Moon Knight? Yeah, I'd love to see him pop up in this. Like, this is exactly the sort of shit they'd be getting up in.
But he's not too overpowered to be in it.
I mean, he's kind of powered by a mystical Egyptian god. That's
yeah, but he can't control it. So it could be, we're going to have to Fisk, and he's like, excellent. He has an episode, and then wakes up in Barcelona. He's like, what? Yeah, great. He was loads of fucking use. He was. May as well just have Foggy with us. Also, I don't know if you remember on the last podcast, I said about, no, it was an earlier podcast, about potentially I might know where the story's going regarding Foggy.
Yes, vaguely.
But I wasn't going to spoil nothing.
Yeah,
it's obviously not the case. But there's a comic run where Lady Fisk gets Foggy to fake his death.
Oh.
And I thought that's what it was going to be.
To what
but
end?
Obviously that's not the case. It's for, I forgot what it's actually for now.
If you tell me that she's like an FBI agent or something like that, this is all.
No. It's to get him into witness. Like, he makes a deal, and she'll get him into, like, basically a witness protection, but he's protected by, like, her lot.
All right.
But he does actually die after the fact, and Matt has to go to hell and get his soul and stuff. So I don't think it's going to go down that route. But then we might have got Ghost Rider and that.
Yeah.
But the first episode on the side of the building where Foggy does die is there's like a number thing on the wall, and that's the actual episode number.
Right.
Like the issue of the comic.
Yeah.
So like it's gotta be that then. It's not. It's obviously, but yeah. So that thing that I said I don't want to spoil, I could have said because it wasn't a spoiler.
It would have been interesting, but I think it would have been so left field.
But we also we saw Matt hear his heartbeat.
Yeah, it was like, by the way, I'm not dead.
So even though Foggy then ruined both your life and Karen's life, like no longer friends
because of it.
Yeah. People have died because he wasn't Daredevil in.
Mm-hmm.
You nearly killed Bullseye. Not you, Matt. But Mr. Fisk and the old super strong head squidge.
Oh man, that was
think of that scene, Dan. That's
just
a good fucking
in
scene.
front of, like, I mean, this is this is why you can't really feel bad for these police officers anymore, because they just watched their own boss get his head crushed.
And they did nothing.
And they literally just stood there and like, yeah, get him. Get him, boss.
And only like one, maybe two of them like had a slight
Yeah.
Other than that, everyone else was stone-faced. However, shockingly, Zoe fell asleep during the first initial watch of Daredevil. So she watched it the next day. And I was waiting for this bit. And when I looked over, I'm going to have to make a noise in order to make the mouth move. But when I looked over and I was watching her face during this scene, and it was literally like, it was like her mouth was wide open, her eyes were wide. It's just, oh my God. Look, told you it's good. But it's a good scene. However, so Kingpin doesn't have super. He's just really strong, isn't he?
Yes, but But
it fluctuates between mediums. Because he can go toe-to-toe with Spider-Man in some cases.
Well, yeah. I don't think it just depends on what they need him to do and how strong they need him to be. I think this is still pretty... Like, he's a pretty strong guy. Like, I think, like, because Daredevil wouldn't just be able to just, like, smack him and knock him out. That's his... Like, that's the only sort of opportunity he's got. Like, he can hold his own.
Brute strength.
And, yeah, brute strength. Like, bear hug him, throw him for a window, disorientate him. Like, if he's got any sense about him, which he clearly does, he knows he's blind.
Yeah. But he must know that he's got some kind of senses.
In the room.
But trip him up.
Yeah, like, overwhelm his sense of hearing. And, just smack him in the head. Like, you can crush someone's head. Although I'm pretty sure I've seen that sort of, standing behind someone, squishing the head, and you hear like that. I don't think I've ever seen them actually go, and then this is what happens. Like, typically, you'd be like,
cut away.
It's like an implied thing. But like, it's just sort of his jaw comes off and his head sort of falls off at the top. I thought his whole skull had like caved in on itself. That was way more grim, to be clear. But
the way they did it was shocking more than anything.
Oh yeah, I just didn't
because they showed it.
Yeah,
but because it wasn't that, it was just crushed his head. It like he's broke a bit off here, like say he's pulled the jaw off here, skin's come off here. It's just
it was just his
grim.
Head hasn't just collapsed in on itself, so he's not so strong that he could do that.
He just royally fucked it.
Oh man. I'm sure
such a good scene.
He's just this proper grim, that is.
Then with the handkerchief afterwards, he's like num num num.
Let's get to work, yeah. Like yes, okay, sure.
Do you think Vanessa was just like their magic fingers?
I don't know. I wouldn't.
That was gross.
I wouldn't want to be touched by him. Jeez.
But no, overall, I think it was an excellent episode. Otherwise, there was a couple of episodes that was a bit not hit and miss. They were all good episodes the whole season, but some better than others. Yeah, and I think overall, I don't have many complaints compared to when we saw Daredevil in She-Hulk.
Yeah, but this is just sort of like we have to change this guy. He can't just be a silly, side character who gets laid. Kill his best mate immediately, and then he's got to go through turmoil, pain, have his missus shoot a serial killer who's trying to kill her. Like her, I think he's. I don't know what's going to happen with her, because now that like Fist's like, yo, do you want to be my inner circle? And she's like, yeah, cool. Like, I don't think that it's going to go two ways. He'll either let her. I say let her as if he's
got Karen's back now, isn't she?
Well, that's the other thing, triangle situation starting to pop back up a bit. But or maybe a square if Frank's on one of those corners as well.
We need another one for that. That's because. Oh no, yeah, it's just more one-sided.
Very much, yeah.
So it's like a rhombus.
Yeah,
it's on a slant.
It's just off to the side, yeah.
Yeah.
But if that means that he could potentially get insider info about Fisk, because she's telling
maybe
Matt what he's up to, but then he also knows that Fisk knows he's Daredevil. That's Daredevil's girlfriend. He can keep her in the same room as him. He tries anything stupid, he throws her out the window. Like, it's... I think he'll...
She's going to be in danger.
I think he'll break up with her to save her from being in danger. Yeah, probably.
But, like, there's a story running in the comics where Fisk gets Karen addicted to heroin. And that's in order to get information on Matt and AK, or Daredevil and stuff. So they might go down the same route, not necessarily heroin, but get her into a situation that she can't get herself out of.
Yeah, you could just manipulate it to some degree, yeah.
Yeah. But I believe that this, because I'm not massively familiar with her as a character, but I believe that she doesn't last very long in the comics anyway.
Yeah,
I would have ventured her dying in this
I
season.
Completely agree. It kind of is a bit left field that he's just sort of got a new girlfriend. Not that he needs.
I mean, he's always got a girl.
Well, he's a handsome man, isn't he?
He's Matt freaking Murdock.
Yeah. There's probably far too many instances where I'd go, I don't think I could be Daredevil and live with someone and not be caught. Because you just pick up a glass that you shouldn't be able to see, and I'm like, wait, how did you see that? Like, there's a bunch,
they did it in the bar, didn't they?
He's cooking and stuff. I think I'd be, not to say that the visually impaired cannot cook, but there's a lot of that sort of stuff where I think I'd be paying attention after I saw them just do, like when he leaves Josie's bar and Josie goes, did he just not use his cane? Like, she hasn't seen him in like a year, and the first thing she does is clocks that, oh, hold on, he's blind and didn't need his cane to see himself out the door. That's odd, isn't it?
But then the cop covers for him then, though, doesn't he? Because he's just like, I didn't notice.
That's not really covering. That's just going, oh, I didn't see. You're an idiot. That's gaslighting.
But he obviously knows that he doesn't need the cane to get around.
Oh, I know.
So he knows he's Daredevil.
But, when you're living with someone or spending a lot of time with them and you know that they can't see, I don't know. I feel like if I was him, I'd have tripped up by now.
But that's why I like...
tied his laces and she'd be going, wait a minute.
But that's why I like the interaction with Kamala's dad, when he's like showing her like the pop vinyl figure, and he's showing Matt the pop vinyl figure and stuff. And that's like, I can't see. How do you know that he was showing you something?
Ooh, double bluff.
I say I am... not disappointed is the wrong word, but I am disappointed that we didn't see like Luke Cage or even a reference or anything like that regarding we need an army. But I think it would have been really cheesy if they'd have opened that door and it was just full of fucking vigilantes.
Yeah, it's all the Defenders, it's Moon Knight, it's everyone just together, just like, hey, Matt.
It's Thor and the Guardians.
All the X-Men. Wait, what?
All the X-Men. Hugh Jackman, Deadpool.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though. What they've done quite cleverly now is that they've gone, okay, well, we've established that he's going to build a team or a big army or whatever, or an army of informants. But we haven't set precedent on who that's going to be. So if you were like, dun dun dun, oh my god, it's Luke Cage, and then the actor who was playing Luke Cage in the Netflix show turns out that he's like a cannibal murderer, and then they have to arrest him and they can't be him anymore. Well, all of a sudden you've set up a whole thing that can't.
You're not tied in, yeah.
So if they just don't do that, or if it had opened the door and it'd just been a room full of shadows, like the unlocked characters, like characters that he hasn't unlocked yet.
Like Noob Saibot.
Yeah. Because that way you can go, right, who can we actually get to be in this next season? I mean, potentially they've already got all of that planned out.
Echo.
But that makes sense. Hawkeye makes sense. Like Kate Bishop makes sense.
Yeah.
Like all the sort of like the Disney Plus show characters, kind of get them together. As far as I know, they're all in fucking New York. Maybe not Echo, but Kate.
Echo's probably not.
But
they're the ones that they should be looking at.
Why is there not a WhatsApp group that they're all in?
Yeah, but that's realistically where I imagine is where they will go down that route. Like, we're not going to see She-Hulk, we're not going to see Moon Knight, but we probably would see Echo. She hasn't got superpowers in the same vein as She-Hulk. Kate Bishop is just a good gymnast and archer. These are all people that Fisk can feasibly kill
And they know him.
Yeah, and they're connected. Yeah. So them two for definite, I reckon. However, a little bit of juicy trivia for you, Dan. The writers revealed, I read it yesterday, but I don't know when it was from. This task force that he's got, this vigilante task force, was originally going to be Thunderbolts.
What, just a bunch of rando police officers?
I think he was going to use, from what they said, the original idea before, obviously, Marvel unveiled that they were making a Thunderbolts movie, was Fisk was going to form the Thunderbolts, and these bad guys will go after the vigilantes and stuff.
Right, but they would not then be the Thunderbolts, because Thunderbolts comes from Thaddeus Ross. It's not something that he's just created on the fly, and I've given you a cool code name.
I mean, to be fair, I mean that's what's happened in this film, isn't it? They've just in the movie, Thaddeus Ross hasn't put them together.
Well, I don't know. I haven't seen it yet, so
no. Thingy's put them together.
Well, no, but we don't know in what capacity.
I mean, he may have ordered it, and she's just carrying it out.
We don't know. It could just be that she's created the thing, but again, if she's doing it with his instruction, or she's got his sign-off as the president now, or whatever, that's how you go about it.
Potentially. I'll give you that one, Dan. I'll give you that. But that was going to lead into, if they did, who do you reckon would be on that team? Because looking at the history of the Disney Plus stuff, there's not a lot to choose from.
Not overly, no. And again, if you want to think of bad guys, it probably would be, what's his name, John, new Captain America, or bad Captain America, should we say? Johnson.
A US agent.
Yeah.
John Connor.
Yeah, sure, John Connor. Maybe some of the Flag Smashers, if they're still going. The girl maybe who was heading up that thing. Emilia Clarke's Skrull, the Super Skrull thing.
She's never coming back.
Probably of her own choice
never
at this
coming
point.
Back.
Yeah. But you could do a Skrull thing, they've been around, but you'd need low level villains that would never actually.
That's the point.
Be a problem for an Avenger to deal with.
Because you can't put super soldiers in there. You can't put Skrulls in there. Well, you can put regular Skrulls, but you can't put anybody that could just flick Daredevil away.
No, but that's... against him, you mean, rather than... I see what you mean.
Yeah. Because obviously these Thunderbolts will be working for Fisk.
It depends. Can you shoot them and they die? Skrull, yes.
Super soldiers, they can die.
Yes, they're not bulletproof. They're just very, very tough and strong. You put one in the face and they're still dead, as we saw in Civil War. It's not it's not a Mac, because Yelena's not a bad guy. None of the Thunderbolts are bad people. Yeah,
they just had bad incidents.
Yeah, but again,
Bucky for the most part.
But
obviously,
that's the thing. You go up against Matt and the Punisher. He's got a gun. As long as Matt can keep them occupied for 30 seconds, he puts a bullet in their face. Yeah. They're out.
I don't think it would have worked though. Plus, this way, the way they have done it, like they're using the police. So, whilst it is brutality and everything else, they're the police. Whereas you can't go, no more vigilantes. Here's a team of vigilantes.
Yeah.
It's the same dilemma that they have, that they don't really address it properly in Brave New World, when Ross is goes to Captain America, Sam Captain America, and he's like, I want you to reform the Avengers. You're the reason that they don't exist anymore.
Yeah, maybe that was a bad idea.
And then promptly moved on. But again, who's he going to use? Because that's inevitably going to happen.
Presumably, yeah.
So, do they just go down the same route? So instead of Iron Man, you've got Ironheart. Instead of Hawkeye, you've got Kate. So it's just the same team.
Yeah,
but with different people.
Yeah, probably.
And I could see that happening, but obviously Cap being the leader rather than Iron Man.
Maybe you try and bring Mads Mikkelsen back from the dead, and you go, let's get a sorcerer in there, someone who can do some real fucking damage.
No, because they could just get Wong.
That's true. He could sort a lot of shit out. I mean, technically, he is the Sorcerer Supreme, isn't he?
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
And that would leave Strange just tidying up after Spider-Man and stuff.
Still.
That's got. I mean, I am looking forward to seeing some of the Spider-Man stuff, if it's going to be street level shenanigans.
Yeah.
But it's just going to raise more questions, like you've already said. Well, where was you when Fisk was doing all this?
Yeah. He stepped in and sorted that out in 30 seconds, but no.
maybe they will address it.
Maybe, but it's also like, if you get something like Jarvis, he's supposed to be like keeping an eye on the fucking planet, and yet the city that he's built in goes, oh, hold on, this guy is clearly a criminal. Maybe we should keep an eye on him.
He's probably got rid of all that shit. It's all gone now. It's all blown up with. Maybe Tony had like a dead man switch.
So as soon as he was out, that was it. Everything.
Yeah, just in case somebody makes an Ultron. Yeah. But now, I mean, that's something that hopefully will get addressed later on down the line. But we'll have to wait on that.
Yeah.
Other new stuff TV wise, Dan, but we're not going to talk about it because you haven't watched it. Is Last of Us season 2 has began, but you need to play the game.
Yes, something I have not done, I'm afraid, because, Callum...
So, that's the next thing you're doing.
I've spent the last sort of 4 or 5 days during our Easter hiatus playing Tears of the Kingdom.
Which I'm not going to get angry at, Dan, because I've wanted to do that for a long time.
It is fantastic.
Good game, innit?
It's so familiar and yet so different from playing Breath. And I'll tell you what is the absolute biggest pain in the arse for me, is the fact that it's because I literally just stopped playing Breath, turned it off, and put Tears in and went straight onto that.
Yeah.
And taking that much of a hit in terms of health, in terms of gear. Oh my god. Every single fucking enemy wiped the floor with me. Because I just thought I was untouchable still.
I didn't think of that, though.
Everybody creamed me.
Because I went from like well over a year, maybe 2 years.
As most people would, yeah, of course.
Yeah, obviously you literally took the game out and put the newer one in.
Yep.
I didn't think about that. God, I'd have hated that.
Oh, it's so jarring. Because everything just is one shot. I've got myself up to like 6 hearts now, I think. But I spent
climbing and stuff.
That's the thing. Stamina 0, no clothes. I didn't have a shirt for like 8 hours before I went, because the first little town you come across, it was like, oh, I've got some the standard sort of like Hylian dress.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, cool. A shirt, 600 rupees. I was like, I've got 12. And I need to keep half the shit that I'm picking up because I'm using it for either food or I'm fusing it to weapons. Like, I can't sell you anything. Good lord.
That is something that works better than it should.
It took a while to get used to, like the Ultra Hand, the Fuse. I didn't really get that to start with, but now I'm like, okay, right, I can save up all these little parts, or I'll throw this random stick away, and I'll use this sword, and I'll attach this bit of this monster onto it. Now it's really fucking powerful. I'm really starting to like properly get into the mechanics of it, and it is like, considering it's the same kind of map, it's 3 extra maps. 2 extra maps. It's enormous.
It's a big old game. Big game.
Yeah.
And it runs very well.
Surprisingly so, yes.
Are you playing it docked or handheld?
Docked.
Because it runs well handheld as well. Like I played a little bit of it over whatever Christmas period it was.
23.
And it ran more than fine. But for the most part, docked. But I think for the most part, I play every Switch game docked. I'll be honest.
That's the thing. Most of them I genuinely haven't. Like most of Breath, I played handheld until I started to really get into it, and then I was actually putting some time into it whilst it was docked. And then I'd bought all the fucking costumes, and I went round and I finished. Like, how much fucking time I spent trying to complete that.
Yeah.
Except the core-up missions, which was 900 of, which I'm not doing. I don't know how big your inventory can possibly get. but it's not worth it. But I bought pretty much every outfit. I'd finished every side mission. I found every shrine. I did every shrine quest. All of that was done. That's when I went over. And man, going from like the strongest being in existence to a shirtless idiot. Oh man, I was just getting pounded by everyone. Like just a random arrow would just come out of nowhere. Things would just fall on me and kill me immediately. It's taken some readjustment, I'll tell you that.
It's not forgiving in that respect.
No,
but
it feels more difficult
game.
than Breath did when I started that, I'll tell you that.
I mean, I don't know, like, I think they're both about the same. Like, it's harder learning new mechanics, I found, from memory at least. But real good.
Yeah, so that's
it.
basically what I've been doing, other than finishing the old Daredevil.
Well, you need to play Last of Us 2, Daniel. It's available now on PC. So you need to just get that fucking wallet open.
Well, there's that, and it's also fucking Ragnarok and Spider-Man and God knows what else.
Yeah, but we're not in a hurry to talk about
Oh, God. There's so much
things are going to
money
get spoiled,
so much
Dan. I say that we're 2 episodes in now, but stay as clear away from everything that you can, possibly, because I genuinely don't want anything to be spoiled for you.
Yeah. Well,
it's annoying that they left it this long.
That shows up for me, which is very good.
That's very good. It's frustrating that they've left it until nearly the release. It was only a little bit before the season started that they brought it to PC.
I don't imagine that was intentional. I think they probably intended to release it a little bit earlier.
I mean, technically they did.
Reporting issues.
It's just a case of you should have bought a PlayStation and
well, exactly.
played it then. It has made me want to go back and replay it though, so that's always a good sign. But we shall not talk about it, Dan.
No.
I don't think I have anything else. Nothing worthwhile, at least. We have had a new review go up for Blitz 2 controller. That's available on podcastversusplay.com and over on YouTube as well. So if you're after a new controller, just have a look. Give it a gander.
Yeah.
Where can they go to look at anything else that they might want to look at with their eyeballs if you're not Matt Murdock?
I would suggest www.podcastvsplayer.com. That
sounds like a challenge, Dan, and I might even put it along the bottom of the screen.
Oh, yes.
This has been fun. It's been enjoyable watching your little flappy face.
Yeah, sure. I don't know how I feel about this as a permanent fixture, but sure, it's worked fine.
Oh no, I don't think it's something we'll do on the regular. But if we're in a pinch and we can't use cams for some reason, it's an option.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you all for watching. I'm still looking at the camera, even though it's not turned on. But thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.